Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
This hourly segment is brought to you by In the Know with Craig Bolanos, powered by VestGen Wealth Partners, Sunday morning at 10 on AM 560 The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560 The Answer.
Good Monday morning, Amy Jacobson here, and well. Jim Uriel, I just found out, today is your 60th birthday, and you're spending time with us.
Yeah, because I want to ignore that it's my 60th birthday.
No, well, first of all,
it came out in conversation, but it's not something I celebrate. 60's old.
Yeah, but look at you. You look great.
Oh, thank you so much.
Do you Botox? Come on.
Of course. Yeah,
of course.
What is Botox again? You shoot
liposuction.
Right, all of it.
Fillers.
What do you got, right?
No, but congratulations
Thank you so
on
much.
making it to 60 years and doing it in style and class. And
well, you know, I have this thesis, and I was telling my nieces and nephews about it, is that I think life is just 3 30-year periods. 0 to 30, you try to figure out who you are, get to your starting point. 30 to 60 is when you build your family, your businesses, your career. Then 60 to 90, or 60 to death, however you want to say it, is that is something else, but I don't know what it is yet. One of my nephews was like, "Well, 21 is a big birthday." No, 21 is the worst birthday. Drinking is so much less fun when it's legal. I think the 21 is a sucker bet. Like, you can go into the bar. No, yeah, it was way more fun when it was
we've been
illegal.
drinking already.
Tell no one, but we've been drinking already. Yeah.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
And you're going to have a party Saturday, you said?
Saturday night, yes.
With your wife, who's also turning 60.
Oh, yeah, you are in trouble with her now?
I mean...
My wife, who's turning 42 in 2 weeks.
Well, 60's the new 40.
Exactly, right.
50's the new 30.
Yeah, it should be fun.
That's great. Well, you're here for a busy week because Trump made the announcement Saturday, to the surprise of a lot, because he had me fooled. I thought he was going to wait 2 weeks. He did not.
Out massive precision strikes on the 3 key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime. The strikes were a spectacular military success.
And according to the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of State Staff, Dane Kane, he calls him Raisin Kane, it was a success because they did not fire back.
Iran's surface-to-air missile systems did not see us. We retained the element of surprise.
No other country on planet Earth could have conducted the operation. The United States does not seek war. Iran should listen to the President of the United States.
So what is next? Will Iran retaliate? Let's welcome back to the program Steven Bucci. Served America for 3 decades as an Army Special Forces officer and top Pentagon official, is a visiting fellow at the Heritage Foundation's Allison Center for Foreign Policy Studies. Good morning, Mr. Bucci. How are you?
I am well. Thank you for having me back on the show.
So, surprise attack it was. Were you fooled, or did you see this coming?
I recognize that when he says you got 2 weeks, that's the outside limit of what he's going to give you. It doesn't mean he's going to give you all of that. So I did expect it sooner. It went faster than I thought as well. But that's okay. I thought he would give them some of the time, at least, to allow the Israelis to continue taking out rocket launchers or missile launchers, really, to lessen their ability to retaliate after the strike. But I was not surprised that he did it, because I knew that the Iranians were not going to back down. They're just true believers, and they really think if they keep talking tough that it's going to work, because it's always worked before, other than the last time Trump was president. So it's just the outcome thus far is predictable. What happens next, a lot harder to predict.
Well, will this compel Iran to straighten up, and can Israel take it from here? Is that a possibility?
Yeah, it is. The Israelis clearly have the operational and tactical levels of war kind of stuff taken care of. They left this one big strategic thing that they couldn't handle. The United States cleaned up. But for all those wringing their hands now saying, oh, we're just lapdogs to the Israelis, this is not just for Israel. This was done for the United States to protect us and to protect the region from Iran getting a nuclear device that would not just be a threat to Israel. Believe me, all those Arab countries around the Middle East are just as nervous about Iran getting that. They know Iran was a much bigger threat to them than Israel. And I'm talking the Saudis, the Jordanians, pretty much everybody else there, even the other Shia countries don't get along with Iran.
Okay. That's Stephen, this is Jim Uriel. A question for you. You said something about Iran retaliating. And if you look at futures markets and financial markets, and I know that I'm a geek, and that's how I view the world as interpreting the situation. And right now, the markets are saying it's not that big a deal and has little chance of growing into anything significant. When you say them retaliating, what does that look like in your mind? What are they even capable of retaliating? How?
Look, it's not going to be the kind of massive strategic retaliation because they don't have that capability anymore.
Right.
The Israelis, thank you, have taken that off the board. They could shoot some missiles at some of our facilities in the region, which would be bad. There's Americans there that could be at risk. They could really go after another country that's allied with us, like Jordan or somebody like that. But their strategic capabilities are down to almost nothing, and the Israelis are not done yet. They're going to continue hitting those as they get the intel on the specific locations. They're going to take them out. So it kind of leaves them with asymmetric means, which means terrorism, stuff like that. Now their proxies have always been their big threat to people: Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis, the Syrian regime. Those are all off the board, essentially. But the IRGC Quds Force, their equivalent of the Spetsnaz, are still spread over the world. They're in Latin America. They're in Africa. They're in all over Europe. They're in the United States, we believe. Hopefully the FBI has a good eye on all those people we think that are in that category. But that's, doing a terrorist event doesn't take an army. It only takes a couple of guys that are dedicated, and these folks are totally dedicated. So we could see something like that.
Well, when President Trump, during his first term, he took out Soleimani, they attacked Americans stationed in Iraq.
Right.
So they don't have the capacity to make trouble outside their region by themselves, except with lone wolf terrorism. And according to Border Patrol agents yesterday, they said that during the Biden administration, 1,504 Iranian nationals tried to cross the border. 729 were released or were gotaways. And that's got to be a concern to FBI, Homeland Security. Is that, do we even know who they are and where they are?
I would say no. I think that common sense would tell you no, because during the Biden administration, when they cut them loose, they were loose. I hope there's some good quality FBI agents out in the field who, when they know those people were let go at this street corner on this day, that they did try and pick it up. I don't know that for a fact, but that's probably the biggest danger of retaliation, is some sort of terrorist attack. Now, to be frank, in the past, when they tried to do those, they tried to kill a Saudi ambassador in Washington, D.C. They've been threatening the president. They were trying to kill Mike Pompeo.
Oh, that's right.
They didn't get them, right? They were unsuccessful in their efforts. And we know these guys really care about trying to do this. So I think we're in good shape, but we need to be vigilant. We need to be wary. This is not a pearl-clutching, swooning moment that, the big bad Iranians are going to come and get us. There are no big bad Iranians. There's a couple of bad individuals, but a lot fewer than there were a few weeks ago. So we just need to be vigilant. We need to continue to support the Israelis as they continue their big fight against Iran. Look, nobody wants to take over Iran, so all of the people worried about that, nobody wants to own that country. We'd like the Iranian people to own it again because they want to get rid of the mullahs. And that should be something that we are aiming at, not regime change a la America coming in and turning it around, but allowing the conditions continue weakening the present government so the Iranian people can do it themselves. That's the best outcome.
Well, what's the risk of a cyber attack? Because that's what, people are, that's also a form of retaliation.
Yeah, it is. The Iranians are capable in cyber. They're good. They're not great. They're not, the Russians or the Chinese. They're probably not even the North Koreans. They had done some stuff against Saudi Arabia, 6, 7, 8 years ago, but they're pretty vulnerable too. So that's a possibility because it always is, and cyber is hard to defend against. But I don't think they're not going to shut off our electrical grid if people are worried about that. They do not have that kind of capability or anything close to that level of attack or disruptiveness. So we got to watch all these things, but I think we need to continue to watch these facilities we took out to make sure they are completely destroyed.
Right.
If they're not, we should probably go in and hit them again.
Well, obviously, the biggest question is what happens or what happened to the enriched uranium. Was it put someplace else before the strikes? And did we get it all in any nuclear fallout? How long do we have to wait before battle damage assessments are in?
Yeah, they've been doing monitoring and stuff like that. There does not appear to be any escaped radioactivity going on. That's ideally that doesn't happen. You keep it buried in the ground. But, yeah, without being able to get in there and do on-the-spot BDA, it's kind of tough to know how much of it was destroyed. Obviously, they're not letting any of the international organization monitors go in there and look because their story is, oh, no, it was just minor damage. You were unsuccessful. Yeah, that's not a real compelling, report from the Iranians themselves.
So you mentioned before about the Iranian people. Now, my whole lifetime we've been led to believe that the strict Muslim countries despise the U.S. We see videos of them chanting death to America. Do you think that is a 100% accurate characteristic? Based on your knowledge and your body of work, do they truly believe that America is evil and must be stopped, or are there Iranian people who like us?
No, the vast majority of the Iranian people like us.
Okay, good.
The Iranian people have tried to rise up several times. Under President Obama, he said, I'm not getting involved in that at all. He just let them get slaughtered by the Iranian regime. And Biden didn't give any support either. Look, those people will chant when they're ordered to chant and when they're led by the mullahs and their IRGC thugs. Because they have to. It's like the old communist thing, or like North Korea now. You always see the North Koreans crying every time Kim Jong-un gets a cold. They don't really love him. They don't have an option. So the Iranians are like, there's 90 million Iranians there. Most of them want their country to return to the pre-Mullah era when they were free. They had flourishing businesses. They were considered, one of the progressive countries in the Middle East, and they know now they're a dunghole, and nobody wants to do business with them because their leaders are nuts. The Iranian people would like to go back to being free people. They're not right now.
No, that's so fascinating. But then when you think about the times we try to engage in regime change, so you're saying that we should just let the Iranian people take back their country and have it look like it did in the 70s where women were free to wear what they want, things like that, correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah, but I mean, okay, so J.D. Vance came out and said, no, this strike. And we're not at war with Iran. We're at war with their nuclear program. This is not about a regime change.
Our view has been very clear that we don't want a regime change. We do not want to protract this or build this out any more than it's already been built out.
And that was Sunday morning. Then by Sunday afternoon, 4 o'clock our time, President Trump put on Truth Social, it's not politically correct to use the term regime change, but if the current Iranian regime is unable to, all caps, make Iran great again, MIGA, why wouldn't there be a regime change? So they're clearly not on the same page or have the same message coming out of the White House.
It's a matter of nuance. Again, this is the same thing where they tried to say, oh, my God, Tulsi Gabbard saying one thing, the president's saying another. Tulsi Gabbard said the Iranians had not built a nuclear device yet, which is true. To our knowledge, they haven't. But it doesn't mean they're not trying to do it. Just because the Supreme Ayatollah didn't, publish an order that says build a bomb. That's part of their propaganda plan. Oh no, we just want peaceful nuclear power. Yeah, you don't build ICBMs to deliver pistachios and fancy Persian rugs. There's only one reason to build ICBMs, and that's to deliver weapons of mass destruction. So what she said was 100% factually true, but so what President Trump said was also factually true. And, frankly, remember, Tulsi Gabbard is operating with an intelligence community that is still at least 50% populated with people who were in bed with the Obama administration at a lot of levels. So their estimates are not written on stone tablets. Their estimates are just that. They're estimates given to the policymakers, i.e. the president, to look at and decide whether he's going to use their advice or the advice from other intelligence sources. Frankly, the Israelis have better human intelligence in Iran than any country in the world. They probably got better intel than the Iranians themselves.
Right.
So saying that her comment was incorrect and he was going with a different one shouldn't shock anybody. It's really kind of ludicrous to me when I hear people on the left in the news who savaged us when I was working in the Bush administration about, that we listened to the intel people that said there were, weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. And we took that as the truth. And they said, oh, you can't believe anything those guys say. They're all bad. Now all of a sudden they're saints. I'm not so sure.
They didn't have a double standard, and that media, they'd have no standard at all. Yes.
So China, have other countries abandoned Iran? I mean, China gets, 90% of their energy from Iran? Where are they? Russia, other countries?
Russia has offered, sort of public relations support. They said, hey, you better not try and kill the Ayatollah. That'll have repercussions. Russia doesn't have anything to provide repercussions with anymore. They are decisively engaged in their illegal invasion of Ukraine. They are not going to get involved in the Middle East. They have no footprint there at all. The Chinese buy a lot of Iranian oil because it's cheap, because it's all sanctioned. And there has been these stories about Chinese aircraft supposedly going to Luxembourg on their flight plan, but diverting and are probably going to Iran. We don't know what they're bringing over there, but it's unlikely to be something that is going to change the calculus here. And I think you need to watch, those other B-2s that flew all the way out to Guam that did not participate in the raid. Gee, what country were they close to? So maybe there was a little signaling going on to Mr. Xi that you might want to sit this one out, brother. Don't get involved because you have targets also. Now, definitely don't want to get in a war with China. We're not in a war with Iran. We just eliminated their nuclear program, and we'll be perfectly happy to leave it at that. we're not trying to do regime change, but the regime is crappy. If we could help the Iranian people get rid of it by taking out their nuclear program, and that motivates them or cuts down their credibility enough to get people out in the streets to do something, that's a win-win.
That would be huge. Then women can take off and show their hair again in public, possibly.
Yeah, and not get their eye poked out.
Yeah, and apparently the Ayatollah, or their supreme leader, is in hiding and has 3 possible successors named. So we'll see what happens there. All right, Steven Bucci, we're going to have to leave it there for today. We will have you back on next week at the same time, because I'm sure a lot is going to be changing between now and then. And as always, we appreciate you. Steven Bucci served America for 3 decades as an Army Special Forces officer and top Pentagon official. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Want to see if you could pay less in taxes? Try the quick and easy tax calculator at willsave.com. Yes, a free tax calculator. That's WILSAVE.com.